Dean Amara Lewis felt the sting before she heard the words. The morning sun glared against the glass of the community center doors, turning every reflection into a harsh, unforgiving mirror. She had come only to drop off scholarship packets. Simple, quiet work before the faculty meeting. But the parking lot was already crowded, blue lights painting the concrete in jittery pulses. A police officer stood beside her car, hand resting too casually on his belt. "Ma'am," he called, though it didn't sound like respect. "This area's for staff. You'll need to move your vehicle." "I am staff," Amara said softly, clutching the folders to her chest. He looked her up and down, smirking. "Right. And I'm the mayor. Let's not hold up the real employees. Run along now." The folders trembled in her hand. "I work here," she repeated, quieter now. He laughed, too loud, too cutting. "Lady, you don't look like you have any business near a college. Maybe try the unemployment center down the road. Unless you can't read the signs." The last line landed like a blade. Uneducated. The word didn't even need to be spoken. It pulsed between them, heavy and deliberate, as if he had stamped it across her forehead. Amara swallowed the heat rising up her throat. "My name is..." But she never finished. Another officer stepped out of the building, urgent and wide-eyed. He whispered something into the first officer's ear. The smirk fell. Both men turned toward her at once. And in that split second, Amara understood. They had just realized who she was. The silence inside the community center felt heavier than the heat outside. Amara Lewis stepped through the glass doors with the scholarship folders still pressed tightly to her chest, her fingers stiff from holding them too hard. People lined the hallway, staff, volunteers, a few high school students, but none of them spoke. Some pretended not to see her. Others stared at the floor as if it might suddenly swallow them whole. Behind her, Officer Briggs followed with quick, uneven steps. "Ma'am," he said, voice now strangely polite. "If we could talk for a second." Amara didn't slow down. "I'm late for a meeting." Another officer, older and wearing a lieutenant's badge, hurried over. "Dean Lewis. We're so sorry. There seems to have been a misunderstanding." Briggs stiffened. "Lieutenant, I didn't know." "That was the problem," the lieutenant muttered. Amara exhaled through her nose, steady but sharp. She turned to face Briggs fully for the first time. His earlier smirk had vanished, replaced with an uneasy half-apology that didn't touch his eyes. "You said I didn't belong here," she said quietly. Briggs swallowed. "I only meant the parking rule. You didn't look like a..." "A what?" Amara asked. Her voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. He opened and closed his mouth. "Look, I misjudged the situation. I thought you were not staff. I told you I was." He shifted on his feet. "People lie about that all the time." The words hit her harder than he realized. Her chest tightened, not with anger, but with that old familiar ache, the one that came every time someone assumed she didn't belong in the very places she'd worked twice as hard to reach. The lieutenant cleared his throat. "Officer Briggs, the dean is an honored guest here. She's overseeing today's scholarship review." "Dean?" Briggs repeated, as if tasting a word foreign to him. "Dean Amara Lewis," the lieutenant emphasized. A faint murmur rippled through the hallway, some people whispering her name, others staring as if they were only now recognizing her from the college's website. Briggs's face twitched. "I didn't mean anything disrespectful." "That's not true," Amara replied. "You meant it the moment you looked at me and decided what I must be." He blinked, caught between defensiveness and embarrassment. "I was just doing my job." "Your job," she echoed, "isn't to assume intelligence or worth based on how someone looks." The folders in her hands shifted slightly. She adjusted them, wishing her fingers would stop trembling. She had faced rooms full of trustees, state officials, donors, faculty members who doubted her qualifications. She had faced coded insults, compliments that questioned her competence, and endless moments where she had to smile to keep the peace. But this, being told on a public sidewalk to run along, because she didn't look educated enough to work at a college. Cut deeper than she expected. Briggs opened his mouth again, but a voice interrupted. Dean Lewis. A young reporter appeared at the end of the hallway, holding a phone and a press badge. Can I ask a question about the incident outside? Briggs stiffened. Incident? The reporter ignored him. Ma'am, someone recorded what happened. It's already online. Amara's breath caught. Online? Yes, the reporter said. It's spreading quickly. People are reacting. The lieutenant turned pale. Reacting how? The reporter hesitated. Mostly outrage. A lot of students recognized Dean Lewis. They're saying the officer's comments were unprofessional. Unprofessional? Briggs snapped. I didn't say anything. The reporter lifted her phone, showing the paused thumbnail of a video. Amara saw herself, frozen mid-blink, folders in hand. And Briggs, towering beside her, face twisted in the smirk she would never forget. Ma'am, the reporter said, lowering her voice. We'd appreciate a statement. Amara felt the hallway tilt a little, like the ground beneath her wasn't fully solid. She wasn't someone who chased attention. Her entire life was built on discipline and quiet excellence, not viral outrage. I'm not prepared to make a statement, she whispered. Briggs exhaled sharply. This is being blown out of proportion. The reporter turned her gaze toward him. You called her uneducated. I did not, Briggs snapped. You implied it, Amara said. Everyone went still, even the air. Briggs glared at her, as if she were the one embarrassing him. You're twisting my words. No, Amara said. I'm remembering them. The lieutenant stepped in again. We should handle this privately. But the hallway door swung open, and a group of students entered, phones already raised, eyes wide with recognition. That's Dean Lewis, one whispered. That's the cop from the video. Briggs froze. Amara felt her heartbeat slow, steadying itself. 4 years, her truth had lived in quiet spaces. In private diaries, late-night conversations with her niece, faculty meetings where her voice was the only one calling out inequity. Now it was being pulled into the open. Dean Lewis, the reporter said again, gentler now. Will you address what happened? Amara met her gaze. Not yet. Then she turned to Briggs. Officer, she said softly, remember my name, because this conversation isn't over. His jaw clenched, and as she walked away, the reporter's voice followed her. Dean Lewis, another department official, just confirmed the video is being reviewed. They're calling an emergency meeting. The hallway erupted in whispers. Amara kept walking. Her quiet world had just been cracked open, and there was no closing it now. The video reached the police department before Amara even made it back to her office. She sat at her desk, trying to steady her breath while the scholarship folders lay untouched beside her. Her phone buzzed again. So many notifications she could barely see the screen. She didn't want to open any of them. Soft knock hit the door. Amara. Her assistant Tasha peeked inside. You need to see this. Amara forced herself upright. How bad is it? Tasha stepped inside and closed the door behind her. It's everywhere. Amara swallowed. Everywhere. Tasha nodded tightly. Local pages. Student groups. A few national accounts picked it up. And the police department posted a statement saying the video is under active internal review. Amara pressed a palm to her forehead. Already. They had no choice. The comments are brutal. People are angry. A long breath left her chest. Let me guess, some people are angry at me. Tasha hesitated. You know how this goes. Amara leaned back in her chair. I wish I didn't. Tasha placed a tablet on the desk. You should watch it. At least once. Amara stared at the paused video, the thumbnail of her standing next to Briggs. His expression sharp, hers wounded. I remember how it felt, she whispered. I don't want to hear it again. But you need to know what people are hearing. Amara reached out and tapped play. Briggs's voice cut through the speakers. Lady, you don't look like you have any business near a college. Amara closed her eyes. The heat rose again, the humiliation raw even through a screen. Tasha lowered the volume. It's awful. But you didn't do anything wrong. That won't matter to everyone, Amara murmured. Before Tasha could reply, Amara's office phone rang. She flinched at the sudden sound. Tasha grabbed it first. Dean Lewis's office. Yes, she's here. She mouthed, President Hale. Amara nodded reluctantly and took the receiver. Good morning. Dean Lewis, President Hale said, voice overly smooth. I assume you've seen the circulating video? I've seen it, she said carefully. We're getting calls. Donors. Parents. A few board members. I see. Public Relations is preparing a statement. Something neutral. We'd appreciate it if you didn't post anything online until we coordinate messaging. Amara's throat tightened. I haven't posted anything. Well, good. Let's keep it that way, Hale said, tone clipped. This is a delicate matter. A delicate matter, Amara repeated softly. Is that what we're calling it? Hale cleared his throat. I mean, it's sensitive for everyone involved. We don't want to escalate tensions with the police department. So my dignity is secondary to maintaining peace, she asked. Of course not, Amara. But we have to think institutionally. Her grip tightened around the phone. Understood. Good. We'll speak again this afternoon. He hung up. Tasha stared at her. Did he really just? Yes, Amara said. He did. A sharp knock hit the office door before she could breathe again. Come in, she said. A group of 3 students entered. 2 black girls and 1 Latino boy. They looked nervous but determined. Dean Lewis, one of the girls said, twisting her notebook in her hands. We wanted to check on you. Amara softened. Thank you. I appreciate that. The boy stepped forward. We're organizing a statement. For you. Against that officer. No, Amara said immediately. Please don't. Not yet. But, Dean, I don't want any of you targeted because of me. The girl shook her head fiercely. We're already targeted, Dean Lewis. At least this time, it's for the truth. The room fell silent. Amara exhaled slowly. Let me think. Let me understand the situation fully. I don't want to make a move that puts you in danger. The students exchanged quiet glances, then nodded and stepped out. Tasha leaned against the wall. They love you, you know. That's what scares me, Amara murmured. The news didn't stop. By afternoon, the hallway outside her office buzzed with whispers and hurried footsteps. Her phone rang again, this time her niece, Camila. Auntie! Camila's voice trembled with a mix of anger and fear. I saw it. I can't believe he spoke to you like that. I'm fine, Amara said softly. No, you're not. You don't have to pretend with me. Amara's silence told its own truth. Auntie, you should speak out, Camila urged. Tell people what really happened. That would make me the story, Amara replied. I don't want to be the story. You didn't choose it. Maybe not, she whispered, but I can choose how I walk through it. A notification pinged in her ear. Then another. Then dozens. Her phone began flooding with messages. Screenshots, news links, comment threads. Are you seeing this? Camila asked. No, Amara said. And I don't want to. You're trending. Amara closed her eyes. Another knock sounded, firmer, official. Dean Lewis. A woman called from behind the door. Councilwoman Rivera's office. She's requesting to speak with you about the police review. Tasha's eyes widened. That's big. Amara stood slowly. Give me a moment. She placed the phone to her ear again. Camila. Yes. I think this is about to become bigger than I wanted. It already is, Camila said softly. Just promise me something. What? Don't let them silence you. Amara swallowed. I'll try. She ended the call and smoothed her blazer. Her hands were shaking, but her spine felt straighter than it had all day. Send her in, she said. The door opened, and the councilwoman's aide stepped inside with a solemn expression. Dean Lewis, she said, the video is now the top story on local news. The police department is launching an emergency internal review. They'd like your official statement. Amara felt the weight of the moment settle over her like a heavy coat. They want my statement, she repeated. Yes. And what happens if I refuse? The aide paused. Then the narrative will be shaped without you. Amara inhaled. For the first time that day, she felt something sharper than humiliation or fear. Resolve. Tell them, she said quietly. I'm ready to talk. The conference room in City Hall smelled faintly of stale coffee and old carpet. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, making everything look a little harsher, a little colder. Amara sat at the long oval table with her hands folded neatly on the polished wood. Around her, city officials, police representatives, a community liaison, and 2 members of the review board. Officer Briggs sat across from her. He stared at the wall, jaw tight, refusing to look at her. The chairwoman cleared her throat. Thank you all for coming. We're here to address the viral incident involving Officer Daniel Briggs and Dean Amara Lewis. We ask that everyone remain civil and concise. Amara's attorney wasn't present. She hadn't yet decided to hire one. For now, she faced the room alone. Lieutenant Harris began, voice heavy with forced neutrality. Dean Lewis, on behalf of the department, we apologize for any distress caused. Amara kept her tone even. Distress wasn't caused by the department. It was caused by a specific officer. A few people shifted uncomfortably. Briggs finally glanced her way, only for a second. I never insulted you, he muttered. You did, she said softly. And it's recorded. That video was taken out of context, Briggs said louder, looking toward the officials at the end of the table. I didn't know who she was. She was parked where she shouldn't be. Amara's brows lifted slightly. So I needed a title for you to treat me with respect? That's not what I said. It's what you implied. A board member interjected. Perhaps we can clarify the chain of events. But no one wanted clarity. They wanted containment. Councilwoman Rivera leaned forward. Dean Lewis, can you describe how Officer Briggs's words affected you at the moment? Amara hesitated, choosing her words. It wasn't just insult. It was assumption. It was the certainty with which he decided I didn't belong anywhere near education. Briggs scoffed. I didn't decide anything. You told me to go to the unemployment center, she replied. Several heads turned sharply toward Briggs. His cheeks reddened. People say worse in this city every day. Why is this suddenly a crisis? Because she's a... The counselor beside him shot him a warning look. Briggs shut his mouth. Councilwoman Rivera shifted her gaze to Amara. What outcome are you seeking? Amara felt every eye in the room land on her. For a moment she thought about saying nothing. About shrugging this off like she had so many wounds before. But something hardened inside her. I want accountability, she said. Not for me alone. For anyone who has ever been spoken to this way. The room tightened with tension. One of the police representatives sighed. Dean Lewis, we respect your feelings, but inflaming this situation publicly could harm community trust. Amara stared at him. You think I'm the one harming trust? We just want to avoid escalation. There already was escalation, she said quietly. It happened in the parking lot. Briggs shook his head. This is ridiculous. Councilwoman Rivera looked at him sharply. Officer Briggs, you'll have the chance to speak when recognized. He leaned back, arms crossed. Another official, older and wearing a navy suit, cleared his throat. Dean Lewis, would you consider issuing a joint statement with the department? Something that clarifies the misunderstanding and assures the public that you and Officer Briggs have resolved the matter privately. Amara blinked. Privately? Yes, he said. A unified message will calm tensions. You're asking me to lie, she said. No, he replied calmly. We're asking you to help the community move forward. Amara stared at him for a long, quiet second. Help the community, she repeated. By shielding misconduct. He bristled. Misconduct is a strong word. It's the accurate one. Briggs leaned forward suddenly. I'm done with this. I'm not apologizing for doing my job. Councilwoman Rivera's voice sharpened. Officer Briggs. No, he snapped, pointing at Amara. She keeps acting like I'm some kind of monster because I made a mistake. You think I'm racist? Is that it? Amara held his gaze. I think you acted on prejudice. That's the same thing. No, she said. But it leads to the same harm. His jaw flexed. You're twisting everything. I'm remembering everything, she corrected. The room went still. Briggs looked ready to explode. But then he muttered something under his breath, low and bitter. She's just playing the educated victim card. Only the woman seated beside him, Councilwoman Rivera, heard it clearly. Her head snapped toward him. What did you just say? She demanded. Briggs's eyes widened a fraction. I didn't. You absolutely did, she said. Say it again. Out loud. He swallowed. I didn't mean. You meant it, Amara said quietly. The same way you meant it earlier. The officials scrambled to regain control. Let's take a 5-minute recess, the chairwoman announced quickly. Everyone cool down. Chairs slid back. Papers rustled. People avoided each other's eyes. Amara remained seated, hands folded neatly, breathing slowly through her nose. Councilwoman Rivera approached her. I heard him. Every word. You're not imagining anything. Amara nodded faintly. I never was. Rivera lowered her voice. If you decide to pursue formal charges or public testimony, you'll have support. That's not what this room wants, Amara said. Rivera's gaze hardened. Rooms like this rarely want the truth. They want quiet. Amara's throat tightened. I'm so tired of being quiet. Rivera nodded. Then don't be. Across the room, Briggs glared at her. Anger, humiliation, resentment all simmering beneath his skin. The meeting had collapsed, and everyone knew it. As Amara gathered her folders to leave, her phone buzzed. New email. The subject line read, Internal Complaint Records. Officer Briggs Confidential. Please read. Her breath stilled. The sender's name was hidden, but the message said only, You're not the first. You won't be the last. He needs to be stopped. Attached were documents. Complaints, reports, names she didn't recognize. Complaints the department had found no cause to pursue. Complaints that echoed her experience almost word for word. Amara stared at the screen. The weight of the truth settled over her. This wasn't just about her anymore. And she knew, with a clarity that steadied her trembling hands. She couldn't walk away now. The cafe was nearly empty, the late evening light slanting through the windows in long, fading stripes. Amara chose a table near the corner, where no one could stand behind her without her noticing. She kept her bag close, one hand resting over the zipper like a shield. Her phone buzzed. Ellis, I'm here. Blue jacket. She looked up just as he stepped inside. A young officer, maybe mid-20s, shoulders tense beneath his uniform jacket. He scanned the cafe, spotted her, then walked over with a cautious, almost guilty expression. Dean Lewis? He asked softly. Yes. Amara gestured to the seat across from her. Thank you for coming. He sat down, eyes darting nervously to the windows. I don't have long. If anyone from my department sees me here. It's okay, Amara said calmly. Start when you're ready. He took a breath, exhaled shakily. The documents I sent you, they're real. I figured they were, she said. What I don't know is why you sent them to me. Ellis swallowed. Because someone had to. And no one inside that building will. Amara leaned forward. Tell me. Ellis rubbed a hand over the back of his neck. Briggs has had complaints for years. Verbal harassment. Escalations during routine stops. Profiling kids for just walking home. 7 internal reports since he joined. 7. Amara whispered. And those are only the formal ones, Ellis continued. There are dozens of informal incidents, stuff officers talk about but don't write down. Why hasn't he been disciplined? Ellis looked down at the table. His uncle was a captain, retired now but still influential. Briggs is protected. And some people in the department think he's just saying what others won't say out loud. Amara's stomach dropped. Is that why the complaints were dismissed? Partly, Ellis said. Mostly because the investigators never push. They close things quietly. Say there wasn't enough evidence. Say the victim was uncooperative. Say the footage didn't show enough. But there was footage. Amara tapped the folder. A lot of it. Ellis nodded. Body cameras. But guess who's in charge of pulling the footage? She didn't answer. He didn't need her to. Briggs, she asked. Not directly, Ellis said. But his friends. And they're not above losing files. Amara felt the weight in her chest deepen, anger mixed with a painful recognition. Systems weren't broken. They were built exactly this way. Why tell me, she asked. Why now? Ellis hesitated. Because what he did to you. That wasn't just a bad moment. It's who he is. And every time he gets away with it, he gets worse. Amara listened, silent, absorbing every word. And because, Ellis lowered his voice further, I'm scared. I joined the force to protect people, not intimidate them. But the culture, if you speak up, you're a problem. So you're risking your job, Amara said. I know. He straightened a little. But I couldn't watch this happen again. Not to you. Not to anyone. Amara breathed in slow and steady. Thank you. Ellis's eyes flicked up. I'm not doing this for thanks. Then why? He hesitated, swallowed hard. My mom's a teacher. 3rd grade. She's been called unqualified by parents just because she's Latina. She's cried at the kitchen table more times than I can count. When I saw that video, when I heard the way he talked to you. His voice broke slightly. It felt familiar. Amara's heart softened. I'm sorry. He shook his head. Don't be. Just promise me you'll use this. Don't let them bury it again. Amara traced the edge of the folder. I'll need help. I know someone, Ellis said. A civil rights attorney named Dana Reed. She's fought the department before. She won't be intimidated. Amara looked down at her trembling hands. I didn't ask for a fight. People like you never do, Ellis said quietly. But you're the ones who win them. A moment passed between them. Quiet, heavy, full of unspoken history. Then Ellis stood abruptly. I should go. Wait, Amara said. What happens to you if anyone finds out you leaked this? He offered a sad, crooked smile. Doesn't matter. What matters is that someone finally listens. He left quickly, head down, shoulders stiff. Amara stayed seated long after he was gone. Her mind raced. The documents, the complaints, the fear in his voice, the truth woven into every page. She knew what she had to do. She opened her phone, searched for the attorney Ellis mentioned, and dialed. Dana Reed's office, a tired voice answered. Hello, Amara said, breath steadying. My name is Dean Amara Lewis. I have information regarding repeated police misconduct, and I need legal counsel. There was a long pause on the line. Dean Lewis, the voice repeated. We've been expecting your call. Expecting. Amara blinked. How? The video, the assistant said simply. Ms. Reed has been following it closely. She believes there's a pattern. There is, Amara said. I have documents. Then you need to come in today. Today. No breathing room. No time to retreat into quiet. Give me an hour, she said. When she arrived at the attorney's office, Dana Reed greeted her with firm handshake and a steady gaze. A woman in her 40s, dressed in muted colors, posture sharp with purpose. "You brought them?" Reed asked. Amara handed over the folder. Reed read quickly, expression tightening with every page. "These are internal records. Whoever gave you this?" "He's risking everything," Amara said. Reed nodded. "And you're risking a great deal by bringing them." "I know." Reed closed the folder and set it aside. "This isn't going to be simple or safe. The department will fight back. The union will fight back. People online will come after you. And if we push this, you won't get your quiet life back." Amara exhaled. "I haven't had a quiet life in a long time." Reed leaned forward. "Then tell me plainly, do you want to pursue this?" Amara thought of the video. The humiliation. Ellis's fear. The unnamed people in these documents. Her niece's trembling voice. The truth, buried over and over again. She met the attorney's eyes. "Yes," she said. "I want to pursue it." Reed nodded once. "Then we fight." Amara felt a shiver move through her. Fear and resolve braided together. The attorney opened her laptop. "We start by preparing for a public hearing." "A hearing?" Amara whispered. "Yes. And once it begins, there's no turning back." Amara looked down at her hands. She knew. She also knew she wasn't backing away. "Tell me what I need to do," she said. City Hall had transformed overnight. Cameras lined the entrance. Students held hand-painted signs. Reporters whispered rapid-fire updates into microphones. The hearing room buzzed with a tense energy that made even the air feel tight, electrified, dangerous. Amara stepped inside beside attorney Dana Reed. Her heartbeat was steady, strangely steady, like her body finally understood there was no escape and had shifted into survival mode. Briggs sat across the room at a separate table, flanked by two union lawyers in dark suits. His posture was stiff, chin lifted, eyes cold. Every time someone whispered, he looked over sharply, as if he were being hunted. Dana touched Amara's elbow. "Remember, keep answers direct. Let them hear your calm. It's more powerful than any anger." "I'm not angry," Amara said softly. Dana raised a brow. "You're allowed to be." "I'm tired," Amara corrected. A board member banged the gavel. "We'll begin now." The room fell into a dense hush. "Today," the chairwoman announced, "we address the complaint filed by Dean Amara Lewis regarding Officer Daniel Briggs. We will hear testimony, review evidence, and determine whether disciplinary action is warranted." Briggs's lawyer stood. "We'd like to start with an opening statement." Dana leaned toward Amara. "Of course they do." The lawyer, a tall man with a permanently condescending smirk, stepped forward. "Ladies and gentlemen, this incident has been blown out of proportion by social media hysteria. Officer Briggs acted within reasonable bounds of his duty. Any perceived insult was a misunderstanding, interpreted unfairly due to heightened public sensitivity." He turned toward Amara as he spoke, the implication unmistakable. Amara held his gaze without blinking. "We aim," he continued, "to restore our officer's reputation and prevent further damage caused by misrepresentation." Dana rose next. "Our goal," she said, voice calm but edged in steel, "is to expose a pattern of behavior that the department has ignored for years. This is not an isolated incident. And it is not a misunderstanding. It is misconduct. Repeated. Documented. Harmful." A ripple moved through the crowd. The board nodded. "We'll begin with Dean Lewis's testimony." Amara stood. Her knees felt heavy but her voice did not falter. The chairwoman asked, "Dean Lewis, please describe what occurred on the morning of the incident." Amara inhaled slowly. "I parked outside the community center to deliver scholarship packets. When I returned, Officer Briggs approached my car. He questioned whether I belonged there." Briggs scoffed audibly. "Officer," the chairwoman warned. Amara continued, "When I told him I was a staff member, he dismissed me. He told me to run along. He suggested I go to the unemployment center. And he implied I couldn't read the parking sign. A quiet gasp echoed from the back row where students sat. The lawyer rose. Objection, subjective interpretation. Dana shot to her feet. It's recorded. The language speaks for itself. The board nodded. Objection overruled. Amara looked directly at Briggs. He assumed I didn't belong in education because of how I look. Briggs's jaw tightened. That's not true. The chairwoman lifted a hand. You'll have an opportunity to respond. Dana leaned in. You're doing perfectly. The questioning continued. Board members asking about her professional background, why she felt targeted, whether she believed the conduct was racially motivated. Then came the union lawyer's turn. Dean Lewis, he began. Would you say you're particularly sensitive to criticism, given your position? No, Amara replied. So you didn't consider that perhaps you misinterpreted Officer Briggs's tone? I considered it, she said. And then I watched the video. The lawyer paced. Videos can't capture context. They captured his words, Amara said. And his smirk. More murmurs. Dean Lewis, the lawyer continued. Have you ever had misunderstandings with other officers or authority figures? Dana stood. Relevance. The lawyer smirked. Establishing pattern. The chairwoman hesitated. We'll allow a brief answer. Amara looked at him steadily. I have had misunderstandings with authority figures. Usually when they make assumptions. Assumptions, he repeated. Or when you read malice into neutral instructions. Dana's voice sharpened. Enough. The chairwoman nodded. Move on. The lawyer stepped back irritated. Next, the board announced, we will hear testimony from Officer Daniel Briggs. Briggs rose, straightening his uniform as if preparing for battle. I never disrespected her, he began. I approached her because the area was restricted. She seemed defensive. I was simply doing my job. Did you tell her she didn't look like staff? Dana asked. Briggs stiffened. I said she didn't appear to be a college employee. Dana raised a brow. And what does a college employee appear like? I meant professional. Dressed for work. I was delivering scholarship materials, Amara said quietly. At 8 in the morning. Briggs ignored her. Look, she overreacted. That's all. Dana spoke before the board could. Let's move to documented patterns. The hearing shifted. Documents were entered into evidence. The dismissed complaints, Ellis's notes, summaries of similar language used with other citizens. Briggs's eyes widened. This is confidential. How did you? The lawyer grabbed his arm. Don't speak. But the room had already shifted. Tension deepened. The narrative was no longer about one moment. It was about years. And then the door at the back opened. Officer Ellis stepped inside. His uniform looked slightly rumpled. His eyes exhausted but resolute. The board announced, Officer Ellis has requested to testify. Briggs lurched halfway out of his chair. No, absolutely not. The board ignored him. Ellis approached the microphone. His voice shook at first. I'm Officer Miguel Ellis. I've worked with Officer Briggs for 3 years. Dana nodded at him encouragingly. Ellis swallowed. I've seen him escalate situations that didn't need escalation. I've heard him make belittling comments, especially toward black residents. I reported some of it. Nothing ever happened. The room buzzed with shock. Briggs shot up. You liar! The chairwoman slammed the gavel. Sit down, Officer Briggs. Ellis's voice grew steadier. He said similar things to an elderly teacher last fall. It's a pattern. Briggs lunged forward, pointing. He's doing this because he hates me. No, Ellis said. I'm doing this because it's right. The union lawyer exploded into objections. Papers flew. Reporters leaned forward like sharks scenting blood. Amara sat still, absorbing the scene around her. Dana whispered, This is it. This is the turning point. But then Briggs's lawyer loudly demanded, We request a counter-investigation against Dean Lewis for defamation and false allegations. Dana stood immediately. Absolutely not. There is no legal basis. Briggs smirked, seeing an opening. You want a war. Fine. Two can play. Amara stared at him. And for the first time she saw it clearly. He wasn't afraid of her. He was afraid of losing the power silence had always granted him. The gavel slammed. This hearing is adjourned until tomorrow morning. The room erupted in chaos. Students rushed forward. Reporters shouted. Officers argued. Amara remained seated, breathing slow and steady. Dana placed a hand on her shoulder. He just made the worst mistake of his career. Amara exhaled. She wasn't tired anymore. She was ready. Amara didn't sleep. By dawn, her inbox had swollen with hundreds of emails, some supportive, many hateful. Her phone buzzed non-stop, vibrating so often it seemed to tremble with its own anxiety. She silenced it, but the notifications still flashed across the screen like tiny explosions. When she arrived on campus, reporters were already waiting near the main entrance. Dean Lewis, do you believe Officer Briggs targeted you because of your race? Are you planning to sue the department? Do you support the union's petition calling for a counter-investigation? She didn't answer. Dana had warned her not to speak publicly until the hearing concluded. Tasha hurried out of the building, rushing to her side. Come through the back entrance. They've been here since 7. Amara followed silently, head down, heart pounding. Inside, the hallways felt colder somehow, the fluorescent lights harsher. A few staff members glanced her way, then pretended to check their phones. One forced a weak smile. Others simply turned around before she reached them. Tasha whispered, "They're scared of the publicity." "I know," Amara said softly. "It's not personal." Tasha shook her head. "Everything about this is personal." They reached Amara's office. Tasha closed the door quickly behind her. "You should see the comment sections," Tasha said. "They're calling you divisive. Some are saying you staged the whole incident." Amara sank into her chair. "Staged? Of course. And someone made a fake account pretending to be you." Amara rubbed her temples. "Doing what?" "Posting inflammatory stuff. Down with the police, things like that." Amara closed her eyes. "They're trying to discredit me." "That's what Dana said. She asked me to tell you not to engage." Amara whispered, "I don't have the strength to engage." The room fell quiet. Then another knock. "Come in," Amara said warily. Professor Langston entered, head of the humanities department and one of the college's senior faculty members. He looked uncomfortable, adjusting his glasses repeatedly. "Dean Lewis," he began carefully, "a few board members requested I check on you." "I'm managing," Amara said. Langston hesitated. "They're concerned about optics." Amara's jaw tightened. "Optics? You know how these situations can affect donor relations." "Donors?" she echoed, voice dull. "Of course." Langston's expression softened faintly. "Amara, if you want to take leave until this blows over." "No," she said firmly. "Just consider it," he replied quietly. "Some believe your presence is fueling the fire." "My presence," Amara said. "Or my dignity." Langston didn't answer. He only sighed, gave a stiff nod, and left. Tasha waited until the door clicked shut before muttering, "They wouldn't treat a white dean like this." Amara didn't respond. She knew it. She'd always known it. Her phone buzzed again. This time she forced herself to look. A message from an unknown number. "You're ruining a good officer's life. Learn your place." Another. "You made this a race issue. Guess you people always do." Her fingers trembled. She shut the phone off completely. A soft knock came from the side doorway. "Auntie." Camila stepped into the office, eyes red-rimmed. "Can I come in?" Amara nodded. Camila walked closer slowly, then stopped in front of her. I saw everything online. I tried messaging you. You weren't responding. I turned my phone off, Amara said. Camila's voice cracked. Are you okay? For the first time since the incident, Amara's composure broke. Tears filled her eyes without warning. Camila rushed forward. Auntie! Amara pressed a hand to her mouth, trying to steady her breathing. The humiliation, the scrutiny, the endless comments, it all crashed into her at once. I'm tired, she whispered. I'm so tired of being the strong one. Camila hugged her tightly. You don't have to be today. Amara leaned into her niece's arms, shoulders trembling. For a moment she felt like she was falling apart, piece by piece. When she finally pulled away, Camila wiped her tears gently. Auntie, you're doing the right thing. Even if it hurts. It does hurt, Amara said. More than I expected. Because you didn't ask for this, Camila said. But you're handling it better than anyone else could. Amara shook her head. Some people at the college think I'm a liability. Then they're cowards, Camila snapped. Before Amara could respond, her computer chimed. An incoming email. She opened it mechanically. A news headline filled the screen. Body cam clip leaked. Officer Briggs accused of verbal harassment of elderly black schoolteacher. Amara froze. Camila leaned closer. What is that? A journalist had obtained a snippet of suppressed footage. Briggs's voice echoed from the video. Ma'am, if you could read the sign, you'd know why I'm stopping you. Then another line, sharper, dripping with disdain. A woman your age should know better. Did you even finish school? The elderly woman's voice trembled in the background. The article continued. Sources confirm this footage was never included in the officer's disciplinary record due to technical issues. Camila stepped back. Oh my God! Amara sat perfectly still. The pattern Ellis described was real. Not speculation. Not rumor. Documented. Hidden. Repeated. Her phone, still off, felt suddenly heavy like a stone. Camila whispered. This changes everything. Across campus, shouting erupted outside. Students reacting to the news as they watched the video on their phones. Tasha burst back into the office. Dean Lewis. The city just released a statement. They're calling an emergency disciplinary review. Amara whispered. Already? Yes. And they're asking you to attend. Amara looked out the window. Students gathered on the quad. Some cheering, some crying, all buzzing with the electricity of truth finally exposed. She felt the faintest tremor of relief. Not joy. Not triumph. Just the relief of not being alone in the truth anymore. Dana called moments later. Amara, she said, skipping any greeting. This leak blows the case open. Briggs's behavior isn't alleged anymore. It's documented. Publicly. Amara exhaled shakily. I just saw. The department can't bury it now, Dana continued. This forces their hand. The review will be real, not symbolic. What do you need me to do? Amara asked. Be ready, Dana said. Tomorrow's hearing won't look like yesterday's. The atmosphere will be explosive. Amara looked at Camila, who squeezed her hand. She looked at Tasha, who nodded with fierce loyalty. Then she spoke into the phone. I'll be there. Dana paused. Amara. This is justice starting to move. But it's not gentle. Prepare yourself. Amara didn't hesitate. I'm prepared, she said. For the first time in days, she felt something shift inside her. A small, steady flame. Not vengeance. Not anger. Resolve. Briggs's long-protected walls were cracking. And finally, the truth was louder than the silence he had always relied on. By the time Amara reached City Hall the next morning, the atmosphere was nothing like before. The first hearing had been tense. This one felt combustible. Reporters crowded the steps. Protesters held signs. Accountability now. Protect our community. Listen to the victims. Her name was everywhere. Briggs's name was too. Dana met her at the entrance. The board called in extra security. That tells you everything about where this is headed. Amara inhaled deeply. I'm ready. You're more ready than he is, Dana murmured. Inside, the hearing room buzzed with energy. Every seat was full. Briggs sat at the far table, face flushed, eyes avoiding everyone, including the police brass now sitting stonily behind him. His lawyer whispered frantically, pushing papers toward him. Amara took her seat. The chairwoman slammed the gavel. We reconvene. A hush fell over the room. We have received new evidence, she continued. A leaked body cam clip showing Officer Briggs verbally harassing an elderly schoolteacher. This evidence directly contradicts earlier statements regarding his conduct and history. The union lawyer sprang up. This is inadmissible. It is admissible under public interest, the chairwoman said firmly. And it will be reviewed. Murmurs rippled across the room. Briggs shifted, fists clenched, jaw twitching. He looked smaller than before, not physically, but in presence, as if the confidence he always wore like armor was cracking. Dana leaned toward Amara. He's unraveling. The board began. A senior investigator stepped up to the microphone. Upon re-examining Officer Briggs's record, we found discrepancies in multiple internal files, missing attachments, incomplete evaluations, and videos marked as corrupted. The room gasped. Briggs's lawyer whispered louder. Don't react. Don't react. But Briggs couldn't stop. This is a setup, he snapped. Someone's trying to ruin me. The chairwoman raised an eyebrow. Are you suggesting the department is framing you? Briggs froze. Dana whispered. He walked right into that. The questioning shifted quickly. Officer Briggs, a board member asked, were you aware that complaints against you were being dismissed without complete review? No, Briggs said, voice strained. I didn't ask anyone to dismiss anything. Yet you benefited from it, the board member replied. That's not my fault. Isn't it? Briggs's eyes darted around the room, searching for allies. He found none. When they called Amara forward, the room leaned in. Dean Lewis, a board member said gently, now that this new evidence has surfaced, would you like to revise your initial statement? No, she said. My statement stands. You're certain? Yes, she said. But I will add something. The room held its breath. Amara met Briggs's eyes. This wasn't about one moment or one insult, she said. It was about a pattern. One I didn't know existed until people braver than me came forward. Officer Briggs didn't treat me badly because he was having a bad day. He treated me badly because he believed he could. Because the system allowed it. Dana whispered. Perfect. A board member turned to Briggs. Officer, do you have a response? Briggs leaned forward, shoulders rigid. She's lying. The words landed flat and desperate. Dana stood. We request the board play the body cam clip. The chairwoman nodded. The lights dimmed. The clip projected onto the large front screen. Briggs's voice boomed through the speakers. Did you even finish school? A collective groan filled the room. Briggs's face drained of color. Dana whispered. There goes the last of his credibility. The board conferred quietly for a moment, then returned their attention to him. Officer Briggs, the chairwoman said, please stand. His lawyer tugged at his sleeve. Stay seated. Stand, she repeated. Briggs rose slowly, shoulders trembling. Given the documented pattern of misconduct, the chairwoman said, the misleading statements provided under oath, the disregard for departmental policy, and the harm caused to members of this community. Briggs's eyes widened, panic flickering for the first time. We recommend immediate termination of employment. Briggs's lawyer shouted. We will appeal. Appeal if you must, the chairwoman said calmly. Our decision stands. The room erupted. Students cheering, reporters shouting questions, officers stiffening with shock. Briggs stared at the board, chest heaving. You can't do this, he whispered. I'm a good officer. No, the chairwoman said softly. You were a protected one. Two internal affairs officers approached him. "No," Briggs said again, stepping back. "No. I'm not, no." "Officer," one IA agent said, "please place your badge on the table." Briggs's breath shook violently. "Not in front of them. That's the procedure." His hands trembled as he unpinned the badge. It slipped from his fingers and clattered onto the wood. The sharp sound echoed through the silent room. He stared at it as if it were a piece of himself lying lifeless on the table. Then one IA officer held out a hand. "Your weapon." Briggs looked around wildly, eyes landing on Amara for the briefest moment. Rage, humiliation, and something like fear twisting together. "You did this," he hissed. "No," Amara said. "Your actions did." The IA officer cleared his throat. "Your weapon, sir." Briggs handed it over with a shaky hand. The room watched as he was escorted out the side door. Reporters followed, shouting questions. Students recorded as he disappeared from view. When the door finally closed behind him, the hearing room exhaled as one. Dana leaned closer. "You should know something." "What?" Amara asked quietly. "He blamed you," Dana said. "But he wasn't afraid of you." Amara frowned. "Then who was he afraid of?" Dana nodded toward the crowd. The students, the community members, Officer Ellis, Councilwoman Rivera, the teacher from the leaked video now standing with her head held high. "That," Dana said, "is who he feared. A world where people stand up for each other." Amara didn't respond. But something inside her shifted. Relief, grief, exhaustion, all braided into one overwhelming exhale. The board adjourned. As Amara gathered her papers, a voice called softly, "Dean Lewis." He turned. Officer Ellis stood there, eyes tired but resolute. "Thank you," he said, "for not backing down." Amara shook her head. "No. Thank you for speaking up." He smiled faintly. "It was the first time I didn't feel alone in that building." Amara nodded. "I know the feeling," she whispered. The morning after Briggs's dismissal, the entire city felt different. It wasn't quieter. If anything, noise pulsed through the streets. Reporters broadcasting outside the station, community members holding signs, students chanting in front of City Hall. But beneath all of that, something subtle had shifted. A weight had finally moved. Amara walked across campus slowly, letting the cold morning air fill her lungs. Students paused to smile at her, some offering small nods of respect. A few approached with soft thank yous, but most kept their distance, sensing she needed space. Tasha joined her outside her office. "You made history yesterday." Amara shook her head. "No, the truth did." Tasha's smile faded a little. "How are you feeling?" Amara hesitated. It would have been easy to claim strength, to give the polished answer she was known for. But something inside her refused the mask. "Tired," she said. "Relieved. And heavier than I expected." Tasha nodded. "Justice takes from you too." Amara exhaled, a long, slow release. "Yes, it does." Inside her office, a stack of letters waited on her desk. Support, apologies, invitations to speak at events. She sat down, picking up the first one. A handwritten note from a retired teacher. "I saw what you did. I was silent once. I regret it. Thank you for not being." Her eyes stung. Another knock. "Dean Lewis." Professor Langston stepped in, expression unusually gentle. "The board would like to meet with you. Today, if possible." Amara braced herself. To discuss what? "They want to apologize." Those were not words she expected. She followed him to the boardroom. The same long table where she had faced judgment so many times now seemed smaller, the people around it humbler. President Hale cleared his throat awkwardly. "Dean Lewis, we mishandled this situation. We prioritized institutional comfort over your dignity, over your safety." Amara said nothing. A board member leaned forward. "We're sincerely sorry. We failed to support you when you needed us." Hale took a breath. "We want to offer resources, mental health support, additional staff, anything you may need. Amara's voice remained steady. I appreciate the apology, but trust takes time. Hale nodded. We understand. It wasn't triumph she felt, not vindication. Just the quiet acknowledgement that a small part of the world had shifted its weight toward the truth, even if only slightly. When the meeting ended, she stepped outside into the hallway just as Camila jogged toward her. Auntie! Camila hugged her tightly. Social media is exploding. Everyone's talking about the reforms the city announced this morning. Reforms? Amara asked. Camila pulled out her phone. Mandatory bias training. A civilian review board. Transparency requirements for internal investigations. The mayor said the hearing exposed structural issues they can't ignore anymore. Amara blinked, overwhelmed. All of that. One step at a time, Camila said, squeezing her hand. But yes, because you wouldn't let them bury what happened. Amara didn't say anything. She didn't trust her voice not to break. Later that afternoon, Officer Ellis arrived outside her building. He looked different, lighter, but also bruised by what he had been through. Dean Lewis, he said, offering a small smile. I came to say goodbye. Goodbye, she asked. You're leaving the department. Ellis nodded. They transferred me to desk duty after the hearing. They didn't say why. But we both know why. Amara's stomach tightened. I'm sorry. Don't be, he said. I'm not staying in a place that punishes honesty. I applied to a community outreach program in another county. They focus on restorative justice. It feels right. Amara's eyes softened. They'd be lucky to have you. Ellis hesitated, then extended an envelope. This is a formal resignation letter. I was wondering, would you write a recommendation? Her chest tightened. Of course. He exhaled, relieved. Thank you. For everything. As he walked away, Amara realized something unexpected. She was proud of him. Proud of the ripple their truth had created. That evening, as the sun dipped low, she found herself drawn back to the community center, the place where everything began. The parking lot was empty now, quiet except for the soft hum of streetlights flickering on. She stood in the exact spot where Briggs had questioned her, the memory sharp and distant at the same time. A soft voice behind her said, Excuse me, are you Dean Lewis? Amara turned. A girl, maybe 12 or 13, stood holding a backpack to her chest. White eyes. Nervous smile. My mom showed me the video, the girl said. I just wanted to say, I want to be like you someday. Amara's throat tightened. Like me. The girl nodded shyly. Someone who doesn't let people tell her what she's worth. Amara felt tears prick her eyes, but this time they were light, not heavy. She lowered herself slightly, meeting the girl's gaze. You already are, she whispered. The girl's smile widened before she ran off to join her mother waiting near the sidewalk. Amara watched them go. For the first time in weeks, her shoulders eased. Justice had come. Imperfect, messy, painful, but real. And it had come not because she shouted the loudest, but because she refused to bend. She stood alone in the quiet parking lot, breathing slowly, letting the moment settle into her bones. Tomorrow, she knew, would bring new challenges. Healing. Recovery. The slow rebuilding of trust and self. But tonight, as the warm evening wind brushed against her face, she felt something she hadn't felt since before all of this began. Steady. Earned. And for the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to breathe without fear.